So we've been talking about meeting your spirit guides with Reiki, how to use Reiki to do that, and what that even means. Also, always clarifying that you can work with Reiki the rest of your life and never work with spirit guides. That is entirely up to you. I think I emphasize it, first of all, because of my own personal experience and how I always learned Reiki with shamanism. I was in shamanic studies for 3 years prior to receiving Reiki, and it was always part of my practice, and then really became, I'm a Reiki practitioner with shamanic training and perceptions, but also with the awareness that that's a particular viewpoint and experience of Reiki that's available to everyone, but it's not necessary in order for Reiki to do the work. Reiki is always doing the work, and the energy is always present, so it's entirely up to each person. The other thing that I want to say that several people commented last week that I hadn't had an awareness. Well, I guess I had. Yeah, never mind. Anyway, that was especially helpful to them is the realization that you can choose the Reiki guides that you want to work with. You do not have to wait for them to come to you. They can and they will. And that's also fun. And you can have more than one. And you can engage with different ones at different times. When they're in the enlightened realms, they do not have like, oh, you can only work with me, or you should only work with me, or if you haven't worked with me for 6 months, I'm not showing up now. They don't have that kind of personality trait. They are always available to you and are going to be presenting to you in a loving way. So those are who we are working with. And last week we did a journey on it, and we were specific in inviting enlightened beings. And to me, that term means that they are only in the realms of love and truth and, the divine realms of consciousness. And so they are in what we call the non-dual realms. So this realm, the earth, is a dual realm. We have dual consciousness, we have higher vibrations and lower vibrations, and everything in between. So last week, what we did, and these are on our YouTube channel if you weren't here, Reiki Lifestyle. And last week, we went to meet an enlightened spirit guide. Maybe you've already been working with them. Maybe it's someone new you want to meet, or maybe it's also someone that a being that you want to meet, and you make that choice in the journey. Like, I'm going to meet that particular one, and then get to know them over time. The reason that I teach this specifically is because what I noticed, and whether it's just because it's my particular style of class, but I think it's all of Reiki, and thinking of Usui Sensei and his practices. He was Shinto and Buddhist, and always working with the spirits of the mountain and different spirits that he worked with. Anyway, I teach it because I noticed in day one of a Reiki 1 class, so many people were already having experiences, and there just wasn't a lot of training for it. Not a lot of what they are, how do you do it with skill. One of the nice things with Reiki energy is it's going to connect you with a higher level of enlightened being automatically. That's part of its nature and what it does. But anyway, that's why I started really emphasizing teaching. With Robyn and I teach our Next Step Reiki classes, and we're doing our 12 Heavens class. Those are closed for the year. They'll start again in January. But anyway, today what I wanted to do is do a journey with you guys to meet the spirit of your Reiki practice. And I want to differentiate practice and business. So people who are working with Reiki have a Reiki practice, and you are going to have your own, and what that means for you, how that works for you, the ways you use it, the ways you forget to use it, all of those things too. And Reiki is so very specific about you having the freedom to develop your Reiki practice your way. There are ways that we do consistently practice that we like to use, and particular methods of work. Like I love the invocations that, shifts me immediately. That's a part of my practice. And so invocations, self-Reiki, Reiki on the fly, Reiki meditations, Reiki sessions for others, Reiki sessions that you receive for yourself, and then just Reiki for your daily life. So all of those things are part of your Reiki practice. Some of you will take that into a business. And Usui Sensei had a Reiki business. Dr. Hayashi had a Reiki business. Mrs. Takada had a Reiki business. So Reiki business has been consistently and historically part of Reiki practices if people choose. If you have a Reiki business, you will have Reiki practices. But you can have Reiki practices and not have a Reiki business. It may not be your intention to have a Reiki business. So what I wanted to do today was just to take you on a journey for you to kind of go within and look at your Reiki practice and see if there's a spirit there that you meet that is part of that with you. And that can be one that you're already working with. It can be something different. For me, I found when I started working with Reiki Lifestyle, back 20 years ago now, it answered me in such a different way than I knew, because I received Reiki to help heal my horse. I thought I would always be doing animal Reiki, and that would be my practice. When I did this journey, and it wasn't necessarily answered in like a 15-minute journey, it's insight. Things come in during and after, and, kind of staying in that place of receptivity to the insight for your answers. But it showed me an intention that when I heard it made sense, but I didn't know it consciously. Like I wouldn't have written it as a mission statement, for instance. And it showed me that my heart intention for my Reiki practice, this was before a Reiki business, or kind of right in the beginning of it, was that I would help Reiki become so mainstream that children would grow up with it as a treatment practice for their health in all the different ways, and that they could grow up thinking that they could have a Reiki business or Reiki practice that could financially support them, that they could choose it as a profession, just like, any other profession. And so it's been a really interesting, winding journey, and coming back to teaching animal Reiki, however many years ago, when Robyn, Pam, Sue, and I wrote the manual and created the classes in animal Reiki. All came back around to that. But Anyway, so that was my experience of it. So what I want to do now, we'll go ahead. I'll try to stick to the time so we have plenty of time for the breakout rooms. But I'm going to take you on a journey to actually just go within, and whether it's actually, something that shows up as a being, as like a spirit guide, one that you work with, or a new one that's coming in specifically for your practice, or if it's just taking you deeper into it for you. And that's, like I say, that's what I didn't know. So again, what can happen with journeys like this is that you can receive answers right now, but it opens you, and it brings that question in for you at a deeper level, so that you also receive continuous insight after today, like, those moments of, oh, that's what that is, you're doing random things.